Hey, Dustin. Random screws and everything. I'll do that later. I'll do it later. Ugh. My cat batteries suck. I will never give up my drill though. Hello, peoples. Got another single-handed controller order. Probably going to slow down because it's summertime. Although I had some guy was asking about maybe 10 of them, but I think he has to get it approved. I think it's some sort of through some VA hospital or something. But for now, I just got one here. Although I do have a repair upstairs. So I guess we'll see how this one goes. AI model used blackmail? Yeah, I've heard stories like what was it, like one of the Microsoft ones, like the Bing AI. Bing AI. Like people think it's like self-aware, but it's like pretending that it isn't. Like, how would we really know what self-aware is? Really, all we have is our own reference. When you get in the whole solipsism thing, because you really all you know for true. The only thing that you know is true is the fact that you can observe the world. That's all you know. All you know is yourself. Yeah, who knows? Maybe a light bulb is self-aware. Probably not. Like, is my cat self-aware? Yeah, remember Microsoft is, I'm investing in and Microsoft is helping to pay to start back up 3 Mile Island. Because, yeah, all this AI that's like single-handedly keeping the stock market afloat also takes tons of power. Not so green all of a sudden, are we? The Nintendo PlayStation CD. No, I didn't, but someone recently, well, a month or two ago, someone contacted me who was working on some sort of project. They asked for all the photos and scans that I had so they could try to reverse engineer it. I think the idea was they were going to make an add-on, because it's important to remember that was originally supposed, you know, the main idea was to make an add-on, and they just happened to also make a combo unit. So the PlayStation was going to be a CD add-on below a stock Super Nintendo, which, as I've mentioned a billion times, would have been really, really slow. Oh, I got a new desoldering iron tip finally. I'm sure it'll be great. People don't have an inner monologue? I can't even imagine that. My inner monologue keeps... How can you not have an inner monologue? That's hard to believe. Bud, do you have an inner monologue? Yes, it is food, 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 food. And then also food. I actually made some progress on the automatic cat food feeder. I made a test cycle rig, basically to... Actually, I cheated and I used AI for the math. Just to see if like the linear actuator opener thing would work, and it did. So I gotta make another version of the rig with an improved lid remover, and then I can proceed to making the whole thing. I'm thinking like the food cartridges would load like cartridges in a gun. They pop up into position, they get peeled, they get kicked out, and a new one comes up. It's like one of those things where, like, you know, if you make it like an existing object, you know, that object works for a reason. RCD, are you sure you're not talking about, what's that called? Object permanence? Okay, so this is a lefty. So I gotta remove the righty. Let's bump up the power a bit. So I have been trying to like catch up on my project, so the film scanner is mechanically done. There's still a few code things I'd like to improve, but that one's done, so moving on to the cat thing, because I'd like to have the cat food feeder working before the Vintage Computer Festival, which is in September, because that's the next... Well, I guess it depends on if I take a vacation. Well, if I take a vacation, I'll probably ask Max to check in on him, which I usually do. Max should be acclimated to his new baby. By then. The Ben Heck Show is host to the few millennials having kids. Wait, Felix was not a millennial. Felix was a Gen Xer. Oh, Bud is angry pooping. Bud, are you angry pooping? Oh, you made a game, Dragon? What's the premise of it? What is it? VCF Midwest. That seems very strange. Wish my brain worked like that. It'd make it easier to go to sleep at night. Literally shut off your brain. Let's see. Let's see some lefty, hefty lefty, and mighty righty. Rage dumps. Well, yeah, Bud is now 5 years old, so yeah, maybe he's taking rage dumps. I made him a giant custom litter box, so you'd think that would make him happy. I went to Home Depot and I got like a called a cement mixing bin. So it's like a big black bin. It's like 2 foot by 3 foot. It's probably like 8 inches deep. It's like the perfect base for a giant litter box. And then I use like basically pegboard without holes in it, whatever it's called, from Menards to make the walls. Bud, stop that! Get away from that 2x4. Jesus, he hates 2x4s. It's that 2x4 cyst. Wait, people can't hear music in their head? Okay, that's weird. That seems like the kind of thing that would be weeded out through natural selection. Especially like no object permanence. Oh, is there a saber-toothed tiger behind me? Oh, I don't know, I can't see it. Oh, I'm dead. Da-da-da-da. Sometimes when I'm like trying to fall asleep, I will like design things in my head. It helps me fall asleep. I can imagine people not being able to do that, but that other stuff is kind of crazy. Did I get that back? No, wait, no, that's right. Eyeball it. There was I can't remember what it was. There was some kid who was like born like as a savant, and apparently like a lot of these savants, there's also a huge correlation with like severe autism. So they're like secretly like super intelligent, but they're also unable to express it. But apparently like there was one kid, I don't know, well, it wasn't that long ago. He had like that super savant intelligence, but he was also like, you know, perfectly able to communicate. So he's able to like express, or he's able to tell scientists, like in his case, he can do like huge mathematical equations instantly. But the difference with this guy is he can actually tell the researchers, he can explain it to the researchers. And for him, he seems like the math is like colors in his brain, in his mind's eye or something weird like that. So it's actually it's been a breakthrough because it's like a Rosetta Stone. Let's see. Virgin ball. There we go. Let's see how well it works. Once around. Once around. Come on, my wishing tree. Shabong. Oh, that's ignorant. You know, one thing I do in my mind that I've always kind of wondered about is this is a really minor thing, but like when I visualize the days of the week, it's for whatever reason they're from right to left, like the opposite of like your Google Calendar. I don't know why. That's how I see them in my mind's eye. Wow, is that a one and done, one shot? Well, you know the ancient Chinese proverb, faintest pencil scratch is better than the best memory. Ancient Chinese secret, huh? Oh crap. Did the Hall effect sensor go flying? Oh no, where would I ever find another one? It's probably my pant leg or something. Well, if I just grab another one, the other one will obviously magically appear. Okay, so here's this. The Hall effect sensor reuser. You know, I hate it's like sometimes I'll try to think of something, but I'll like completely blank it. Like I'll forget the name of something. Go. COVID brain. You know what? Believe it or not, I went to a bar and had one beer after work today before I started work again. And one of the bartenders was like, "Oh, I made this Parmesan garlic liqueur," and everyone was like smelling it, and I couldn't really smell it, so I wonder if I did get some damage. But not enough to not smell Bud's poop. The angry poop. That's senility? Well, yeah. Yeah, do those drop-in Hall effect sensor sticks exist yet? I think someone was saying that they do. Okay, so this is a lefty. So with the word left there, and the controller goes in through the bottom. That would be great. Like if I could just pop Hall effect sensors in right here, it would be worth the extra money because it would reduce the the likelihood of a repair. So even if it was like $5 or $10 a pop, I'd still do it. Because stick drift is absolutely real. It's definitely something that's gotten worse since, like, I'd say about 2017. So Alps is definitely cheaping out. It's the carbon that breaks, not the... It's not a mechanical failure, it's a carbon failure. I guess it's technically still a mechanical failure. Yeah, it's definitely the #1 failure on these still. Oh no, Denny's, I haven't been a full-time YouTuber since 2018. No, these days my full-time day job is programming pinball machines. So right now, well, we've already released it and it's shipping, but just like the video game industry, you know, it wasn't completed when we shipped it. So, Bud, stop that. Get away from that. Why do you hate 2x4? You have a perfectly good scratching post. I should just make you a scratching post made out of 2x4s. 2x2s, I mean. Well, anyway, yeah, so the most recent one that I coded was, it was for Spooky Pinball, and it was Evil Dead Pinball, based off the first 2 movies, and it went over really well. So they're still building them. They'll be building them probably until January, I want to say. The run, and then I'll probably start. They want me to do 2 more games, which is like, I don't know. I picture in my mind 3 to 4 more years of working from home, and it's like, ugh. But at the same time, I don't trust this economy farther than I could throw it. Hey, stop! No, get off of that. Off. Go sit in your bed and be cute. So anyway, basically adding more modes and bug fixing the Evil Dead game until probably October, and that's when I'll most likely start the next one, whose theme is a secret. Because we can't talk about that until licensor approvals and stuff. Yeah, because I used to do these controllers on like Mondays, but also like I used to sell more of them a couple of years ago. But now I program 5 days a week, so when I do get these orders, I do it on Monday nights, or, well, yesterday was a holiday, so Tuesday nights in this case. And the orders have definitely gone down. However, I have less time, so it's, I wouldn't call it a win-win, but, well, I mean, yeah. Because if it was like 2020, like the number of orders I got back then, that would really suck on top of a day job as well. Because remember, back in 2020, I was still like semi-retired. No, they're real pinball machines. So like Evil Dead, they sold out. It took about 2 months to sell out the whole run, but they sold out the whole run. It's 888 units. So they started in. They started building them in January, and it'll be done probably next January. I don't build them; I just program them. Using Unity. I wish I had time to like make a game, because I play these video games and I just get so sick of all this stupid crap in video games. Like I want to make a list of all the things I hate in modern games and then make a game that has none of it. It's like I started playing Doom Eternal, and then like it's like, oh, you can use these gold ingots to like have skill trees for your weapon, and I'm like just like, ugh, I hate this. It's like, what? I don't know. It's like I shouldn't hate that, but I don't know why. I just do nowadays. It's like as soon as like a skill tree window comes up or a crafting window comes up, I just roll my eyes. Ugh. Well, you know what else I hate? Here, getting really pedantic, is this new trend. I think it started with like Horizon Zero Dawn. That stupid crap where like you can't just push a button, you have to hold the button for 1 second. I mean, I know why they do it, but I just hate it. I'm probably just aging out of video games, but I don't know. So much of the stuff just feels so samey. For the most part, I liked Indiana Jones because it did feel different. It had some of that stuff, but it wasn't too bad. I also think the games are just too damn long. Dev kit pinball machines? Yeah, Filler B. So what they usually do is once they have the game, once they have the first prototype that's like fully functional, they bring it over to me and well now the work it's in my basement, like, so the opposite corner of my basement where I am now, I have like a work from home like another work from home area set up. It's more like an office area. It's not like a soldering area. So like right now in my basement I have the last game that I did, which was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I have one of those, and then I have Evil Dead. I know sometimes programmers will start with a simulation of the game, and before they get the game, I can't even imagine doing it that way. But then, yeah, usually it's, well, Texas Chainsaw we had a long time. It was also my first Unity project, so I was worse at it. Now I'm slightly less worse at it. Texas Chainsaw, I think I had like, God, I think it was like 18 months, and then Evil Dead I only had 10 months from dropped off in my basement and start shipping, so. But apparently it worked. People seem to like it. And apparently it's the most stable launch that, well, Spooky has had. For what that's worth. Yeah, that's probably a big part of it, Justin. Yeah, I don't know if it was mechanically refreshing to play Indiana Jones, or was it just because I'm a big Indiana Jones? Well, no, it did actually feel mechanically refreshing. Like, the game didn't really explain much to you at all, which was interesting. I mean, because if you think about it, video games are like, they're pretty pointless. They're just, all they do is waste your time. Well, sort of pinball machines. It's not like you're, yeah, I don't know. You know, pretty much the only thing I play consistently is Warzone. Like, yeah, actually there was that one guy, Steven, who joined on one of these streams, so we still play every so often. And then my other buddy, so that's probably the most consistent gaming I would do is, yeah, probably Warzone. Yeah, even if I go to one of these game conventions, like, I just do not care. I get so burnt out on, I just do not care. Like, I think at MGC I counted I played 5 total games of pinball at the show. Because really you spend all your time just talking to people. I mean, I guess if you're just like some, you know, like noob Gen Xer dad, you'd be like, wow, I'm gonna play Golden Axe, and for me it's just like, whatever. The Sony era? It would have been a, basically a mass storage device, but yes, it would have also played audio. So they could have streamed, well, it would have had to been Redbook audio, because there's no way they could have compressed it. They didn't have the horsepower to decompress it. So the issue I thought of with that is it uses the expansion port. Well, actually, the whole Super Nintendo bus, the bus is 8-bit. So it's like those, you know, like the older, like the really old Intel, like the, what was it, the 8088, I believe it was. It's internally 16-bit with a 8-bit bus. PC Junior was the same way. So Super Nintendo was the same way. So I guess think about like the Sega CD actually had a 16-bit bus going to the CD drive. Think about how slow that was. Now it's half as slow, because I think, yeah, they both were single-speed drives on top of it. So the cartridge that came with that. So let's say you got the Nintendo PlayStation add-on as the add-on instead of the whole system, which, like all the other systems, that would have been like, even if it had been released, that would have been way more common than the full unit. Just like the Turbo Duo versus the TurboGrafx 16 plus CD. There was a cartridge that you had to have the cartridge in the slot. That's why that combo unit also had a cartridge. Because basically it was a Super Nintendo with the CD part built in. That's really all it was. So the cartridge, all that was the 512K of RAM, and then I think it had 8K of battery-backed save RAM. So the reason that would have sucked is because there were no additional processing chips in that. It's like one of the things with the Super Nintendo, like it was a deliberately weak system, and they were like, well, if we need extra oomph, we'll just make the customers pay more for the games, because there'll be like either a coprocessor or a DSP, the chip, not the awful YouTuber, and that would help the system run. So like unlike the Nintendo, like even like the very earliest launch titles for the SNES had helper chips in the cartridges. So right out of the bat, you know, the games were punching above the weight of the CPU. Because like they even had like the mask ROMs that you would get to make your Super Nintendo games. There was actually two speed grades. They were like slow ROMs and fast ROMs. So the system was really kind of slow. Like it'd be interesting if you had like Sega Genesis speeds and an actual 16-bit bus, plus the amazing audio and graphics hardware. Well, I don't know if I call the audio of the Super Nintendo awesome. I mean, basically the whole thing was just like a sample sequencer. Like the Super Nintendo didn't actually have any like synthesis. Every sound you heard from the Super Nintendo was effectively a sampled wave file. That's why it had that distinctive sound. It's like there was this. So what you would do is you'd like record. Well, I mean, you wouldn't record it. This would already be existing, because synthesizers have been doing this for like 50 years at that point. You'd have like a recording of a piano, right? And you'd have one note, and then the hardware could play that sample back at different rates, which would create the different pitches. So you'd have, you know, PCM examples of certain instruments, and then you could play them back like a synthesizer. Because there was like, I can't remember, I think it was like Russian. There was a type of synthesizer back in the, well, it wasn't a synthesizer. It was like in the 40s or 50s. And it had all these like continuous tapes, and it did the same thing where like you push a button and it would engage a continuous loop tape that had a particular instrument on it, and then it would change the playback speed to create a different pitch. So that's an existing analog technology, and so the Super Nintendo was a digital version of that. Yeah, I wonder if they added the reverb to make it sound a little more organic, maybe. But like everything on that, like even if like everything was like a sampled sound effect, which probably made some of the programming easier, but it would also consume more ROM space. Let's see. And actually, the sound chip on the Super Nintendo was made by Sony, and it was designed by Ken Kutayagi, also known as the father of PlayStation. So a lot of the DNA was already there. Which is like, you can crack open like Apple computers from the 1980s, and there's like a microchip side. Microsoft. There's usually at least one Microsoft chip in there, like Microsoft Basic will be labeled. I need another 3-banger wire. Tonight on the Ben Heck stream, the history of the Super Nintendo. Hello, I'm Ben Heck. This is the history of the Super Nintendo. Fascinating stuff. Well, anyway, like, okay, let's say you had Super Mario Kart, right? And it's like, oh, this game uses Mode 7, blah, blah, blah. But that cartridge also had, it had a helper chip, basically for the math. So even, yeah. Or Pilot Wings, I think Pilot Wings had a DSP, so even like some of the launch titles had coprocessors, so it was like right off the bat, it was like, yeah, this thing's kind of weak. And then if you got into like some of the late games, like the Super Mario RPG, actually had a second CPU inside the cartridge, which was used to do data decompression. I think some of like the last few Street Fighter games did as well. Like there's a port of Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the Super Nintendo somehow, and that also has an extra chip just for data decompression. Although even like NES games would do that sometimes. Like the MMC1 mappers with character RAM, they would, character RAM was just 8K of RAM, so they would have to load the graphics off the ROM and then over the bus put them into the RAM so they could then be accessed by the PPU. So guess what? Your cartridge games had loading. Ah! What's up? Oh, just same thing we do every night. Try and build controllers. Mr. Wells? Yes. I'm a big fan. Ed, don't spend your whole life making someone else's dreams. Thank you, Orson. I rewatched that about a month ago. My favorite movie. Screw you! I met Bela Lugosi. He's still alive. Sort of. Oh, Jesus, batteries. God, am I going to buy more Chinesium batteries? Jeez. They don't hold a charge with the Baker's dam anymore. Well, there's nothing wrong with this drill. Mechanically, it's fine. It's just the batteries suck. And these are the second set. The old combo. Yeah. Oh, I'm not fed up. I mean, any chance I get to rip on Nintendo or the Super Nintendo architecture, I'll gladly take. I mean, I would just like to remind everyone that I was hating Nintendo long before it was cool. Asterisk 1 month ago. I'm a man of great vision. Usually I do this part first. Oh yeah, it's Tuesday already, isn't it? Why is the dehumidifier still running? Yeah, that's right, Filler B. Damn it, power screwdriver's upstairs. Maybe I'll get that later for the inevitable beer break. I think I have a few beers left. Yeah, Nintendo Switch Pro Controller is pretty cool. Yeah, it sucks Microsoft's raising the price of their controllers. Because the thing is, their controllers were still reasonable. Well, believe me, I know. Their controllers were still reasonably priced, but like, compared to like the the Switch or the PlayStation 5, because the PlayStation 5 controllers were $75 in 2020. I think the Pro controller was like 70, so like this one for like 50 was like way cheaper. It's like, hey, Phil Spencer, how can we sell more consoles since we're getting our butt kicked? I know, let's raise the price. Brilliant. What kind of lead-free solder do I use? The answer to that is none. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Oh, Sonny too. I recognize you from the other stuff. Thanks for the super chat. Although I do this just for fun. I build these for customers, so I do a charity stream once a year, but other than that, I don't. But thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. Like usually between Christmas and New Year's every year, I do a charity stream where all the proceeds go to usually like children's hospitals or St. Jude's. Although St. Jude sends you so much junk mail, it's crazy. It's like, why don't you send this? You know, the cost of this junk mail is more than 0 cents. Couldn't you? You could have bought like an aspirin for a kid with this. But thank you, Sonny. I mean, my theory with stick drift is that Alps went cheap with however they apply the carbon contact to the inside of the potentiometers on the sticks. Let's see if I have anything here that would serve as an example. Try to zoom in on this. There. So this is carbon bonded to plastic. So this carbon ring, creates the analog stick. It basically is a variable resistor. This carbon gets worn out, and that's what causes stick drift. It's not mechanical, it's this carbon. I don't know why it happens, but they're all made by the same company. They're all made by Alps, which is a quality company. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm sure what happened is they tried to make it cheaper. So, but they're not going to admit that because that would open them to a class action lawsuit. So they have to like obfuscate it. So like, yeah, if they're going to raise the price of all this crap, put in some Hall effect sensors. Although I could see why they might be gun shy about that. Well, obviously it costs more money. Even though Dreamcast did it in 1999, they had 6 Hall effect sensors in that thing. Like Dreamcast used a Hall effect sensor for the trigger, just like Xbox does for both triggers, but it also used it for the D-pad. Hall effect sensor. However, during the chip shortage, Hall effect sensors were one of the unobtainium products. Basically, anything that would be used in a car was hard to get because, you know, they're going to make sure that Ford and Chevy gets the Hall effect sensors and the MOSFETs, and before you do. We certainly had that problem with the pinball stuff. Or like the Nintendo Game & Watch, where it's like, well, Nintendo can get STM32s, but nobody else can. I don't think cleaning would help because, well, okay, so I had, what was it? I bought my Xbox Series X. God, it's a stupid name. I want 2022, and I think the first thing I played on it was Elden Ring, and I think that's all I played on it. Like when I first got it, or my niece would play Grand Theft Auto. Anyway, like 70 hours of Elden Ring caused a brand new controller to have stick drift. And I think I was either, well, I don't think I was streaming back then, so it was a YouTube video, and I took it apart, and I was able to, show. I'm sure it's on the channel someplace, but yeah, it was weird. Like it's like the carbon turned into like almost like this like grease kind of stuff. I don't know how that happened, but you could see it was like lifted up. And there was like this, it's like it somehow liquefied, which is how carbon liquefies, I do not know, but yeah. But yeah, they obviously know there's a problem, but they're not going to admit it because then that would be like a slam dunk class action lawsuit. Well, no, because that analog stick, only one of the axes had failed. I think it was like the horizontal axis, and the other potentiometer was just a regular dry carbon surface, i.e. it did not look like that. I mean, it had some wear, but it didn't have like the liquefaction part. I mean, they know full damn well it's a thing. I mean, I still see it happen. Like, I'll have people send controllers back with stick drift that are, well, like in my example, not even a year old. I mean, obviously it depends on how much you use it, but still. But then you can like grab a PlayStation 2 controller and it's perfectly fine. I don't know. It's like, I'll say that stuff because I don't work at these companies, so I can say whatever the hell I want. You know, like, hey, you know why your Tesla battery is so expensive is because half of the circuitry in there is to keep it from exploding. See, Elon can't say that, but I can. OG Xbox? You mean the 2001 version Xbox where they had the recall? They had the new power outlet. Was it that one? So apparently you had a failed power outlet or a yeah. Because remember they gave that they would give you that plug with like the reset button on it. I thought about that like last week. I bought a power washer. And like the electric ones had plugs that look exactly like the plug on the repair plug on the original Xbox. Yeah, there's like a yellow button and a red button and a big fat plastic enclosure. But then I was like, wait a minute. I don't live in California. I'm gonna buy a gas power washer. Now let's see what we got here. Hefty lefty, mighty righty. I guess this customer can have any color they want as long as it's white. Alright, so let's do... Okay, one of these already cleaned up. No. Let's see. Gray. Gray. Blue, blue, my heart is blue. Blue since the day I've been without you. When you left, all the sun shines bright. Yes, that's right, Paul Manafort. Living room on fire is the ultimate red ring of death. Yeah. Yup. Yeah, by the time Microsoft got to a flawless launch, nobody wanted the console. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Xbox One except for the Kinect that nobody wanted. White with RGBs. Yeah, I'll put some RGBs in it. It's so dumb to put RGBs in something that's wireless. RGBs take up a decent amount of power. It's like, oh, I want my battery to go dead faster. Let's put lights on it. Ah, my big pliers upstairs? I think so. Outdoor use only. Yeah, it's like a turkey fryer. Don't use this inside your house. I was thinking about that when I was using my power washer the other day because one wall of the porch has a power socket on it, but it's got like a splash guard and a GFCI and all that. And I was like, I wonder how much water I could hit this with before something would trip. But it wasn't that big of a deal. Of course, after I bought my power washer and I was putting it together, I was like thinking, wait a minute, I bet friend X has a power washer. I could have just borrowed his, but whatever. You know, like when you think about your friends and you're like, which of my friends would for sure own a power washer? It's like one of those questions. Like, which of my friends would know all the lyrics to Informer? That would be Steve. Hello, Krillin64. Well, you know what, Justin? I would disagree with you. First of all, an RGB LED is obviously 3 LEDs. Each one has a different power rating. Usually, I want to say green is the brightest, red is the second brightest, and blue is the dimmest. So the power rating of them is non-linear, which sometimes you have to account for when you're doing coloring and stuff. You have to put it through like a scaler. Like I actually have one that I put it through some floats that assign the relative. Well, they level it out for like an APA 102. No, it's like let's say you have like your standard like APA 102. Like at full on is like 80 milliamps. That adds up fast. I mean, you talk about like 12 of those and you're up to an amp if it's full white. And you might be like, oh, well, just don't have it be full white, but you have to assume that it might be full white. Okay, let's do this next. Lefty, lefty, loosey, mighty, righty. Hefty, lefty. Steve knows the words to Snow's Informer. Wait, Sonny 2.0, do you know who my friend Steve is? Wait. My old friend Steve. Maybe Sonny is a stalker. Steve is like my dude bro Chad friend. Like married some chick like 18 years younger than him. Hey, you know what? Good for him. Well, yes, every LED is a tiny amount of power, but if you put enough of them together, it adds up. It's like that billboard that you see on the highway. Oh yeah, it's made up of like, you know, tens of thousands of 100 milliamp LEDs, but the whole thing takes the power of 2 houses. It adds up. Like how much of the Hoover Dam powers that insane, what's that called, the Superdome or whatever they got in Vegas, the LED dome? Like that thing's got to be like 100 megawatts. That's right. Well, Justin, there's also RGBW, which is, well, RGB plus a dedicated white LED. Even though a white LED is just a blue LED with a phosphor over it. Yeah, white is, yes. So, white LEDs do not exist. That's why they have blue blockers when you're if you're using a computer, because well, these lights in here, these are all blue LEDs with a phosphor. So even though there's a phosphor over it, you're still getting the high frequency blue color, which isn't the best for eye strain. Blue, blue, my lights are blue. Blue are my lights since I've been with you. That's the wrong screw. Hey, Bad Karma. I love using my Raspberry Pi. Yeah, that's cool. What kind of Raspberry Pi do you have? Yeah, that's Bud on the secondary camera. He was kind of being a jerk earlier, but now he's like... What's going on? Oh, I did finally buy some new screws. Oh, Jesus, I gotta sort this. $1 million screws. Springs, I should say. Sorry. Yeah, Microsoft is helping. Actually, we were talking about that about 45 minutes ago, Sonny. Yeah, they're helping to pay for the reactivation of 3 Mile Island. And they're doing it because, yeah, all these companies are like super green, but they also are relying on AI to prop up our fake economy. And AI uses shitloads of power. I don't know, I'm a big proponent of nuclear. Like, if people want like an all electric future, that is the only possible way it could even remotely happen. So, you know, I think people should be open to it. And yeah, you know, it can be dangerous, but so is, you know, burning trillions of tons of coal. All right, so we got this guy here. So I need that black guy with the Hall effect. Oh, how many of these? Oh, I probably have tons of these left. You never have enough magnets. You know what, GST? I don't know the answer to that. Oh, but speaking of power, okay, so I have the I actually pay for the Copilot, blah blah blah, and of course it's a bait and switch. So now they're gonna like charge you. You'll get X. Well, if you want to use the better language models, your subscription includes like X number of credits per month, and then if you use those, then you have to pay per credit. Because of course, just paying a subscription isn't enough. If I had to guess, by better language modules, they mean ones that consume more expensive hardware and power. That's probably why they cost more. Yeah, I don't know why geothermal doesn't get enough look at it, because I mean it's already there. I mean, granted, this is so stupid. If you somehow hooked up enough geothermal, like if you covered the entire surface of the Earth with it, then you would cause the core to, you would destroy their magnetosphere, but I think that's impossible. So yeah, until that point, geothermal would be great. Oh yeah, I think it was last summer we were doing like a can't remember why we had that party. Oh no, it was a wedding anniversary for my uncle who doesn't like me, and so I asked him. I actually asked him. I asked him why Madison's lakes were so polluted with mercury, and he said it was a particulate from coal burning. So, yeah, that is actually what fouled up these lakes. It's like, ironically, the hippie green city of Madison has two of the filthiest lakes, filled with algae and mercury. Like at the boat launches, there are signs that say, "If you are pregnant, do not eat any fish from this lake." It's like, well, I'd have to catch one first. This one. Oh wow, Sonny, you're all in. For my usage, I think ChatGPT still seems the most intelligent. Like the Copilot that's baked into Windows that Microsoft is pushing hardcore, it seems dumb as rocks. It also has no like conversation permanence whatsoever. It seems like a forgetful old person. Then I've also noticed the Copilot one, the one that I pay for, it even vacillates between apps. Like, it's way more aggressive on VS Code than it is in Visual Studio. I do not know why. In Visual Studio, it seems almost slow, even on like a big computer. Yeah, Paul, they have this, they do this, maybe they do it other places too, but there's this new trend here in Wisconsin where they will build large power lines out of steel and they will pre-rust them. So the rust is, they go up rusted and it acts as a barrier. Not the strongest spring, but I think it'll work. Well, the pre-rusted ones are probably have a higher iron content, if I had to guess. Grok is the Twitter AI, is that correct? Is that one free to use, or first one's free, kid kind of thing? Gonna put the blue line on the right one so I can keep track of the polarity. Let's probably get some new. Yeah, these tips are fine. Plus I've got a bunch of them. I think I mentioned this before, but the Copilot in Visual Studio made it super easy to get my computer vision thing working, because it's like, well, I assume computer vision can do this, and then of course it already knows all the commands, and yeah. Because with that one I have the the code is on the Pi, and then I what is it called, the remote, the whatever, I basically remote into it off VS Code on my big computers, because it's even with all the cores, the Raspberry Pi 5 is not like it's a performance beast. Oh, Andy, I just saw, I think it was just yesterday, there was a, God, it probably was like a 1977 like Ford F100 truck, and it was in pretty good condition. I mean, it had some rust, but not as much. I mean, you know, any other truck would have been like a pile of rust on the ground by now. It had this really cool bed where, like, it didn't have a bed liner, but someone had, like, inlaid wood in between, like, the ridges, and then they had it, like, stained and clear coated. It was so cool looking. I think it was like an automatic. Alright, let's set that aside. Now comes the crappy, boring soldering part. What are we at? 1 hour, 11 minutes? That's not bad. I just jinxed it. Got the blue marker there. By the way, with the Raspberry, yeah, I'm using a Raspberry Pi 5 and the the Raspberry Pi high quality camera hooked up to a C-mount microscope. So it's doing 4K still frames of each frame, although it gets cropped because obviously the image does not take up a full 4K frame, so the effective frame area is more like, well, it's still overkill. It's like 2600 by 1800, I want to say. You can tweak it, of course. There's like sliders. I will make a video about it when it's done. There's a slider, so like you see the frame, and then you can actually say, okay, I want the crop to start here, and then, and it's all based off computer vision. Really, all that it does is it tracks a sprocket hole. I mean, actually, it doesn't even do the motion control anymore, because I was trying to do it just by using the take-up reel, and I was like, well, you know what? If I want to do this the best possible way, I should revert to having a sprocket driver. So the sprocket driver isn't on the gate. The film, actually, well, actually, this is pretty close to what the final one was. So the microscope goes here, right? And then all these film surfaces are covered with microfiber cloth. And then you have these, which flatten the film. These have spring. Well, I took the springs off, but the springs go like that to keep the film flat. And the reason you need this is because you have to deal with splices in the film or other irregularities. Right, and so on the final version, this comes around, loops around, and then right here there are there's two sprocket wheels on stepper motors, and these two stepper motors are actually wired in parallel, so they're in perfect sync. So once you line up the film, and then there's like little tiny sprocket. I 3D printed it, so you make sure this one's lined up and make sure that it's tight to this one, and then once you do that, both the motors work in sync. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. Because I was being so pedantic, I was thinking about the time differential between sending pulses on different I/O lines. But if you wire the steppers in parallel, then they're perfectly in sync. And so what I did was, I just tried to think of the easiest math hack that I could, where it's the frame is. The distance between sprocket center is 4.135 millimeters or something like that. So then when I designed the sprocket, I did the math, like the circumference, and I'm like, okay, well, if I make it a certain diameter, that'll be exactly 20 frames per rotation of the sprocket. Now, it's not wrapped completely around the sprocket, but that doesn't matter. So the reason I picked 20 is because 10 would bend the film, it would be too tight or it'd be unnecessarily tight. But the other thing about 20 is that it divides evenly into 1.8 degrees per stepper motor math. So if you take 360 divided by 1.8 is 200 times 16 microsteps is 3200 divided by 20 is 160 steps per frame. And that way, the math is, it doesn't, basically the math. And then what I did in Marlin was I set it up so that, I think I put it on the x-axis. So I was like, the x-axis is 160 steps per unit. So basically, you don't send it as millimeters, you send it as frames. So they're like, okay, I want to move 1 unit forward. And so it's like, oh, okay, 1 unit is 160 steps, which means each one of those moves exactly 1 frame. And yeah, it's really, that worked really well. So it wasn't as, I wanted it to be simpler originally, but I mean, using just the take-up wheel to index it worked, but the second thing, the thing I just described, is much, much better. Like, the frames do have a little bit of difference per frame, but it's pretty negligible. And then the computer vision just lines everything up to the sprocket hole anyway. Oh, that was a tangent. Okay, so... I have that same problem with learning Python as well. I want to learn it, but I have to have an application for it, and aside from like a few things that little scripts I've made, I still don't have a lot of motivation. Then the first example of this scanner project I just described, the guy wrote it in Python, but then there was like some issue where it's like, well, on the Raspberry Pi 5 it uses a different library for the cameras, and that library does not have a Python wrapper that works with this version of computer vision or some crap. And I was like, screw it, I'm just going to write it in C++. That's what I did, because computer vision is C++, so there's no wrapper required. No parappa the wrapper required. Alright, let's see here. Oh. And clunk. Yeah, stay in place. You know, ChatGPT reminds me of when I was a kid and I would copy code snippets out of magazines and they would work, but I didn't actually understand how they worked. And I kind of get that feeling with it, and it kind of is disconcerting. I think we did that live stream, I don't know when it was, like much earlier this year, when I was like, I'm going to program an Atari game during the live stream, and somehow I managed to do it. And I was doing it, and I was like, oh, I understand what this code is doing so much better now than I did when I was 12. It's like, oh, it's creating a memory offset and blah, 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 and all of this is, yeah, but I think it's kind of like, oh, here we go, movie reference again. It reminds me of like J.J. Abrams' Star Wars. It's like, he's like, oh, we're going to have the desert, and we're going to have an alien in the desert, and then we're going to have this ship, and there's going to be the Star Destroyer. It's like, It's like he takes all these elements. Well, this is Disney Star Wars in general. He takes all these elements from Star Wars, and it's like, well, if we put all these elements together, it'll make Star Wars. So it looks like Star Wars. It's like elements of Star Wars, but they don't actually know how Star Wars worked. It's like Star Wars without the slavish devotion to Joseph Campbell. Let's see here. Okay, like the one visual I thought was like actually kind of profound in The Force Awakens was when they're on Jakku and Rey she's like out in the desert and there's all those like Star Destroyers like buried in the sand, and I was like, is this meant to make us think of when we were kids and we would play with our toys in the sandbox? It's like, was that on purpose, I wonder? I mean, maybe? And then it's like, oh my god. So you know how people would like go to the dump and try to find crypto hard drives? It's like, I'm gonna dig up a sandbox and find Boba Fett with a missile launcher. But you know, even if that was on purpose, it's kind of clever, but it's still very surface level. Because it's not really, that's not even really part of your psyche. That's just, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of clever, if it was even on purpose. Hey, somebody ask AI if that was on purpose. Like, if anyone ever asked JJ about that. I mean, that's how I interpreted it. And I didn't even play with Star Wars toys. I was like a Transformers kid. Okay, let's do the, here, I'll go into the close-up view. Close-up view. As long as I can still solder it. Well, I don't really care about the lore of Jakku. I'm just wondering if someone ever said in an interview that they consciously made it look like a children's sandbox. You can't tell me the kids weren't trying to do like the Jabba the Hutt thing in their sandbox. You know, and they would like dig a hole in the middle of it, and that would be like the Sarlacc pit. And then, like, the Han Solo toy would fall into it. There's no way thousands of kids didn't do that. Drop me in the Sarlacc pit so I can be out of this movie. Rebel Moon. Oh god, Rebel Moon looked really stupid. I did like the what was it, the Snyder cut of Batman v the Justice League. Yeah, I thought that was pretty decent, and I usually don't like long movies, but I watched it at home. Let's see here. Looks acceptable. I think a big problem with like Star Wars is like there's really the main Star Wars story. It's the farmer who becomes king, which is an ancient trope. And I don't know, you tell that story and then you tell the story before the story with the prequels, which now everyone retroactively loves, much to the chagrin of Red Letter Media. But then what else do you... I don't know. It's like... Because the core story is like boilerplate monomyth. And so you either like tell that same story again, or you just start over, which I'm sure Disney will eventually do. They'll probably just reboot it. I'm sure there's like a big lever right now at Disney. It's like reboot or sell. Then Harlan Ellison would probably be like, oh, Harlan Ellison. Harlan Ellison. Well, he would probably be like, I invented Star Wars. Larry Ellison would probably buy it. Harlan Ellison. A UFC movie? Zack Snyder did direct the only movie that I felt like I wasted my time watching on a plane, which was Sucker Punch. That movie was god awful. And I watched Fan 4 Stick on a plane. That movie, there's worse films. I really liked Watchmen. I thought you did a great job with that. And Dawn of the Dead, which allegedly took place in a mall in Milwaukee, I've been to many, many times, and I always like, where's the gun store? Oh, that's right. They filmed it in Milwaukee, Canada. Of course. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy must have a lot of blackmail on people, because any other executive would have been fired after the Han Solo movie bombed. It's crazy too, because like she was like a legendary producer. I mean, okay, yeah, well, actually, after she stopped working with Steven Spielberg, the first movie she made was Milk Money. Okay, maybe not. Well, okay, aside from that. All right, so. I always kind of wonder if I met her once. I know that sounds crazy. I was working at this theater in Rochester, Minnesota, and it was the one next to the Mayo Clinic. And so there was always like rich people and kings and dignitaries going to the Mayo Clinic. And there'd be like Hollywood movie stars too. And it was 1995, so the Congo was in the theater. And there was like this lady, and then like an old man, and I think I was working concessions, and the lady was like, "Oh, I'd like to see how this sounds. I was one of the producers on this movie." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Do you know Steven Spielberg?" She's like, "Yes." And he puts his pants on the same way you do every day. I still remember that. But then thinking back, I'm like, was that? What I would. When was that? Would I have known? I wouldn't have known what she looked like. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. I want to say she was probably older than she would have been at that time. I don't know. Well, certainly, I mean, I'm certainly, you know, obviously her name's plastered all over like the second and third Indiana Jones movies. So yeah, I don't know. When I die. Okay, God. What was the highest blood alcohol level I ever had? It was right before you came here. Oh. Also, was that Kathleen Kennedy I met that one time? No. Yeah, I'll never know. Apparently, like, Art Garfunkel was there one time, but I think I was up in the projection booth, so I didn't get to meet him. Congo was not a good movie. I mean, I guess the cast is pretty good. You know, it had Bruce Campbell and Laura Linney in it, but that doesn't make it a good movie. I think I saw, God, I saw, no, I never saw Milk Money, but I distinctly remember seeing, oh God, I know way too much about 90s movie stuff. So we had well, it's still there, a drive-through movie theater in my hometown. And, I remember it was cheap even by those, like, you could see like 2 movies for like $4 or something like that. And you could sneak in whatever you wanted. And a friend of mine worked for the owner or something, so if I was with that particular friend, we got away with even more. Anyway, God, what did we watch? Alive, the movie about the people who crashed in the Chilis, or the Chilean mountains. Let me see. Oh crap, I think I got that backwards. I did. It's all Kathleen Kennedy's fault. Well, anyway, the last movie that she made with Steven Spielberg was Jurassic Park. And then she started her own company with her husband, which was called the Kennedy Marshall Production Company. And their first movie was Milk Money. That's the one where Ed Harris is a divorced dad and his kids hire a hooker for him to be his girlfriend. I've never seen it. Maybe it's a good movie. I don't know. Single people might eat crackers. We don't know. Frankly, we don't want to know. Oh crap! The first one was supposed to be Ground. Oh god damn it! This is all Kathleen Kennedy's fault. So anyway, yeah. So they made Milk Money. Then they made Alive, which was directed by her husband. What's his face? Oh yeah, Tim Curry was in that. And my close personal friend shit. God damn it, I can't remember his name. Crap. What is wrong with me? See, here's an example. I can't remember a person's age. No. It was, oh, God. I'm not, if I describe it, then you'll know who it is, but I'm just upset that I can't remember. Wait, was it that? I hate myself for this. Winston Zedmore. God, I can't remember his name. Someone in chat will say it and I'll feel awful. He was in Congo as well. I think that was him, wasn't it? No, not... Why can't I think... Is that the same actor? Because in Congo he says, I am your great white hunter, though I happen to be black. I'm pretty sure that was him. The person whose name I can't remember. Who hasn't aged at all. Yes, I'm definitely having a senior moment here. Ernie Hudson, yes, thank you. God damn it, I guess I am having a senior moment. Okay, so ground Y, skip 1, so this is A here. I guess I'm having a hard time remembering things and remembering where these solder points go. I've overloaded my brain. And who's the guy? The guy who betrayed Neo was Joe Palantino. He was in it too. And then they had that Clinton joke where it's like they gave the monkey a cigar. They're like, Amy, don't inhale. Because it was the 90s, you know. Oh, you know what 90s movie involving apes holds up really well? George of the Jungle. That had a young... Oh, god damn it. Actually, that had a bunch of people in it. That Thomas Hayden Church was in it. And, oh, Leslie Mann. Okay, I remembered her name. And, of course, Brendan Fraser. Welcome to Ben Talks 90s Movies. Yep, I know all about the movies from the 80s and 90s. The actor that played Winston Zedmore, I give up. I met him at a Stern Ghostbusters party. He's a nice guy. Okay, so this one goes to the B button. Now we gotta wire this up to the whatevers. Excuse me. Yeah. There's a really funny line in that movie where the two bumbling poachers are like, one of them's like, which one of the gorillas are we going to tranquilize and take back to Vegas? The one playing chess. Yeah, that was a great movie. A trivia night? Yeah, as long as the question's not about Ernie Hudson. Which Ghostbuster was in the movie The Crow? Sigourney Weaver? Oh, Bud has 2 litter boxes. He's got his original litter box, and then I built him a giant 2-foot by 3-foot litter box. You know what? I was watching some YouTube videos the other night, and I think it was because I was like researching like filming locations for Evil Dead 2. So somehow I started getting all these like King Kong movie clips. And then they were playing one from King Kong, even though I just now thought of her name. They were playing one from King Kong 1978. And the female, the main female character shows up on screen. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, she was in this movie. And then I was like, oh crap, what's her name? And I was thinking, she was in Rob Roy. I mean, just now I remembered her name, but yeah, a few nights ago I was like, oh crap, what's her name? I think I kept getting her confused with who's that woman she was in Thelma and Louise and she was married to Tim Robbins, or is married to Tim Robbins. Susan Sarandon. Yeah, for some reason I thought it was her, but it's not. Your acting skills have faded with age, Miss Sarandon. You will die a peasant's death. I actually saw Team America in the theater, and that was actually one of the lines that made the the Madison, Wisconsin audience like audibly groan. The other one was the Film Actors Guild. Okay. All right, that's the hard part done. Over here. Yeah, that must have been a pretty early Jeff Bridges movie, wasn't it? It's Jessica Lange, for anyone playing at home. Oh, I was roommates with some buddies in Rochester for a couple months back in 1995. That was like not long after I was out of high school. But then I moved back to Wisconsin. So I've lived in Wisconsin pretty much my entire life. I thought they were going to make a sequel to Goonies for some dumb reason. They could call it Goonies, never say why. Hey, speaking of Kathleen Kennedy, like, imagine like you're making a 5th Indiana Jones movie for some stupid reason. And then like 6 months later, out of the blue, Ke Huy Quan like becomes an actor again. It'd be like, damn it! God, that would have been so awesome. That would have been so great. God damn it. Why couldn't that have happened? Also, don't do it, Hollywood. you blew it. I thought that Foxconn thing never really happened, or like they didn't build the factory they said they were going to. I know that was a big point of contention when everyone was hating on Scott Walker. It was going to be an LCD plant, right? Because, shh, they just wanted our water. Because, shh, China's running out of water. There we go. This picture, like, it would be like Indiana Jones and the tomb of the Chinese emperor or something. And then, like, he gets in trouble, and then, like, this figure, like, pops up and saves him, and he comes out of the shadow, and it's Short Round. And he'd be like, Short Round, you got tall. Dun 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 dun. And then he'd be like, I love you, Dr. Jones. And then Harrison Ford would, like, find the ace up his sleeve. And he'd be like, you cheat. That would be like, you know, that's how they would, like, deflate that. You know, they had to put a joke into it. I mean, Sean Connery's dead, but Q Kwan's still alive. AI generated movies? Yeah, I guess you could do that. We're probably about 10 years off. I'm guessing if... Well, I think they have, like... What's that new one people are talking about? Like, Google VO3 or whatever. I'm guessing what would happen is... And actually, the latest version of Adobe Premiere can... use AI to extend the heads and tails of your clips. I'm guessing, though, after a while, it would start to hallucinate, and it would be just like... You know, like when you're having a dream, and then all of a sudden, like, the scene changes, or the continuity breaks. I'm guessing AI would... I mean, like, right now, there would probably be only a certain amount of time you would get before that would happen. Or you probably have to have quite a few prompts. Like, more prompts than you'd actually have in an actual script. Because it's still easier than shooting a movie. I was actually talking to my niece about that on Memorial Day. When we were, I went and visited and cooked out, and she's like really big into art, and she's actually pretty good at it. She likes drawing like Marvel characters and stuff. But I think she's 16, so she's a sophomore, and I did talk to her. I'm like, about art stuff, and I was like, you do know it's probably AI's going to destroy it all. And she's like, yeah, I know. I heard about the actors strike and all that, and how it probably didn't improve anything, or if anything, sped up the demise. And I'm like, yeah. So I was just suggesting other stuff that was art related that might still be a job in 3 years. VO3. Well, I mean, the thing is, with the AI, it's like, the movies have gotten they're just too expensive. Like, you know, we just had the new Mission Impossible came out, and, like, they spent so much money on the last two Mission Impossibles. Yeah, I know it was because of, like, COVID stuff, but it's just insane. Like, yeah, it's because of COVID, but you still spent an insane amount of money. And that happened with The Batman, same thing. Like, it started and stopped so many times. And I think Aquaman 2. So there's so many movies lately where the budgets have just... I mean, I think the budgets are far worse than they're even admitting. And the thing is, it's going to kill them. So, yeah, sadly, AI is... Okay, there's been this historical thing with Hollywood. Like, something comes along and they hate it, and then it saves their ass. Like, they hated TV. I don't know if it saved their ass. Well, I guess movies went into TV distribution, because back then the only way to re-release movies was in theaters. Then they hated VHS, and then video created a long tail. And then they hated DVD, or well, and that was, I think that actually that's a big part of the problem is that, you know, like 20 years ago, let's say you made a Mission Impossible that was only a mild hit, but then you'd sell like $75 million worth of DVDs of it. And that doesn't happen anymore. Like, they completely shot off that entire long tail of physical distribution. And so basically, like, it's the theatrical run, and that's it. Because I have no idea how they would quantify the value on, like, Paramount Plus or Disney Plus or all that garbage. And China saved Hollywood's ass for about 10 years. Like, once the Chinese market, like, got really addicted to big... But now they're making their own stuff. I guess my point is, like, the budgets of these movies have become untenable. And they may actually need AI in order to make them even profitable. Because, like that, the latest Mission Impossible, that movie will not make a profit. There's no way. And I think, I'm sure that it was already too late, but like the last one didn't do that great either. And they spent God knows how much, you know, shooting it during COVID. And yeah, I guarantee you that they'll probably probably the next 5 years, it will not be that far away. There will be a renegotiation where basically like the unions will concede to the use of AI. Because it's either that or the industry is going to be completely unsustainable. Why are the budgets so high? Well, they in the last couple of years it's been so high because they would stop and start shooting a ton of times because of COVID, and also it seems like every movie they make nowadays, especially from Disney, they shoot it like twice, which is insane. Like that didn't used to happen. Like, if you had like a movie that had like major reshoots at the last minute, it was usually pretty rare. I mean, it happened, but like apparently they're reshooting Fantastic Four right now, and it comes out in 2 months. So, or like the same thing happened with like we were talking about Justice League, right? So Zack Snyder made that, and then he left or they fired him or whatever, and then the movie was coming out in like November. And then Josh Whedon started doing reshoots in June. So not only did you have like 3 months of last minute reshoots, but then you also had to have like 3 months of super compressed post-production. And the same thing happened on Rogue One, everyone's favorite movie, but they reshot a huge chunk of that movie the summer of, what was that, 2016? And then you'd have a hyper-accelerated post-production, which would just be vomiting money out to places. Yeah, it's just not sustainable. I mean, what they need to do is they need to like write the movie 10 times and shoot the movie once, which is how they used to do it. Now it's the other way around. Or they're delaying the Avengers Doomsday, probably because I'm sure they don't have a finished script. And so they're like, wait a minute, this is going to be garbage. So if... It's so stupid. I don't know, it's just insane, like how many... All these reshoots, like the thing is they're not normal. Like they try to say that it's not, like 2 weeks might be normal, but like doing 2 months is not normal. Well, I think there's a difference, like the movies, the budgets are because they're reshooting everything and they're not finished. Like if you're looking at like streaming shows, that's much simpler. Basically, if like let's say you're Bad Robot, right? And you get the Lord of the Rings of boredom, and then you hire your friends to run the show, and then you hire like 20 of your friends to be executive producers. So next time you watch like one of these hyper budget streaming shows, or you can just go on IMDb right now, like just look up one of those shows and count how many executive producers are in the credits. That's where the money's going. Basically, it's a big parade of executive producers that are all buddies, and all they're doing is basically lining up to like take money out of the streaming service. Oops, I just gave up the secret sauce. It's like, why does this show need 24 executive producers? Well, because 24 executive producers wanted a piece of the budget. All right, so got this here. Truck out a bit. Oh wait, don't I need like the traditional beer once I get near the finish line? Hopefully it's near the finish line. I gotta remember this guy's got a different address than PayPal. I gotta remember that when I send it tomorrow. It could be a PayPal scam, but it probably isn't. Lick your thumb. Yeah, Guy, absolutely. And one of the reasons they rely so heavily on CGI is because if they only build like 5 feet of the set and then the rest of it's CGI, they can do the CGI is non-union, whereas the set would be union. So, yeah. So you can either have IASTA make your set with all the union expenses, rules, whatever, or you can send the footage off to India and have a bunch of... That's what happens. Well, it's the same reason you don't see puppets. It's like, okay, yeah, you're going to have like a bunch of people with a puppet, and the puppet's going to make mistakes, and you have to shoot it over and over and over, and they're all union. Or you just have one person hold a golf ball on a stick and have like Robert Downey Jr. look at it, and then you send it off to a production house, which is not even going to be in California anymore. There's a whole documentary about that. Can't recall the name of it, but it was about the studio Rhythm and Hughes, who first came to prominence with the movie Babe. And I think the last movie they did was Life of Pi. And what happens is all these states and countries basically they have all these tax incentives, which is kind of crazy that our states are, well, I mean, they usually do generate more money than the states give away, but that's why so many movies are shot in England right now, because they have insane tax incentives. But what would happen, like, this would also happen with, like, the effects studios. So, all the studios would be, like, in different states, whichever state had the best tax incentives at the time, or different countries, like Canada or the UK. And so a lot of the visual effects artists would be like homeless minstrels. Like, oh, well, this week the best tax rates are in Idaho. And for my next project, I guess I've got to move to Nova Scotia. And they talk about that in this documentary, how that was a big thing. That it was kind of like a race to the bottom. Like, you know, basically everyone was competing to see who could get the most tax breaks. Because like how it works is like depending on, well, let's use Georgia for an example. Like Georgia's a big, huge one. Like more movies are shot in Georgia now than in Hollywood by the country mile. Like, let's say you're like, okay, we're going to shoot Doctor Strange 2 here in Georgia. Another movie that was massively reshot. And it's like, okay, well, oh wait, no, Doctor Strange 2 was in the UK because that actually, its actual budget was released. Well, anyway, you'd be like, okay, well, you got a $200 million movie, and if you shoot it here and, you know, employ our people, the government will write you a check for like 30% of the budget. So, you know, the UK would pay for like 30% of a big Hollywood movie, and this happens every day of the week. And but the thing is, but the UK gives you 60 million, and then you inject 140 million into their economy. Well, you also inject the tax money into the economy too. So that 60 million turns into $200 million of total overall investment. But then, yeah, you cause this race condition where everyone's trying to like film in the cheapest place or have the effects studio with the biggest tax benefit. Because there's also benefits, like if you do the entire movie, like if you do the post-production in the country as well, you get additional bonuses. Because basically they're trying to get you to spend as much money as possible in their country or state. Yeah, but Andy, we don't have as consistent of weather as Georgia. I mean, Georgia's a hot, sticky mess, but at least it's consistent. Red Letter Media? I like them. I don't watch them nearly as much as I used to. I don't know why. They've almost become like too like dour and like black-pilled, which is really something coming from me. Oh no! I actually sent them a mystery tape once. I found like this tape at like a thrift store. It was like some black spine tape, but it had like it was some sort of like kids show or something. So I actually mailed it to the PO. I don't know if it's probably technically in their pile of boxes someplace. What am I bumping into? Oh God! I mean, can you actually slap? Well, I guess you could, because like here in Wisconsin, I have to pay sales tax on digital goods. So, I mean, I guess you could. God, the UK's got to hate that, because as I mentioned, like, so many movies are shot there. Yeah, it's like, all right, in order to make more movies in America, we have to have more states giving money to billion-dollar corporations. Yeah, great plan. Hey, I would love to be on Red Letter Media, but I don't know. They seem to have a curse. Like, it seems like whenever they work with someone, they like Max Landau, or I guess Justin Roiland too. I mean, but they do have like the best meme now. Just consume product and wait for next product. Yeah, Pinewood, that's a classic. Yeah, like back in the 80s, they shot a ton of movies in England, and then like in the last 10 years they've also, it's like, I guess they probably brought back a big tax break or something. I don't know why it was popular in the 80s. But yeah, you hear stories like when they were making Tim Burton's Batman, the first one. You know, the part of the movie where they go to the Axis chemical factory? Like, the abandoned factory they used for that still had part of the alien nest in it from Aliens. Oh, and there's stories of like, apparently they don't like American directors over there. What a shock. And like when they made Aliens, like James Cameron would get into like huge fights with them, and he hated it when they took tea time. It's kind of funny. Almost speak English in England. Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, Macaulay Culkin's been on there a couple times. All right, so actually, let's not jinx it. Let's test it. Everyone's favorite part for some reason. Hey, bud, go give me a beer. You're useless. You are useless, Jameson. Hey, speaking of Sam Raimi movies, A Simple Plan was filmed in Wisconsin. I don't know if they got a tax credit for it. But... Oh yeah, Patton Oswalt. Yeah, you're right. He's been on there a couple of times. Jack Quaid. He's the guy from what's the show? The Boys, right? Come on, controller, set up. A lot of people have. Yeah, maybe Red Letter Media is like the Madden box cover. Everyone who's on a Madden cover gets into a horrible accident, like our show. A Tesla Fembot? Well, that would be cool. See, when the Tesla Fembot gives you a beer, it's not sexist. All right, that all works. You see Randy Quaid's son? Oh, thanks, Kevin Kabatra. Yeah, I still do videos every so often. Oh, I like one of those tall, skinny robots. Which Woodman's was it? They have wood. Where do you live? Where do they have Woodman's here? I don't usually go there though. Okay, so this guy. Is this the only color? Yeah, I think all I have is white. Didn't they have that one guy who directed those werewolf movies on a bunch of times? Can't remember what his name was. I actually did watch Space Cop. So, you know, obviously I got all the lore. Actually, one of my favorite videos they did, it's really old though, is the Western Ore musical. It was like a Wisconsin 48-hour film festival. Because apparently they pulled the category Western or musical, so they made a Western O-R-E musical, a musical Western about minerals. What's going on? It's the usual. I'm building a single-handed Xbox controller for people who have disabilities, specifically only one hand. You should crash. Yeah, you know what I'd really love to do is, I think Dave Jones still has that fake channel he made for me. I think it'd be awesome. Like, if I was ever in Australia, like to jump in the dumpster and then he could find he's like, unbelievable! They left a Yankee in the dumpster, and that would be funny. Bill Pullman's son? Well, I think it'd be better if they didn't make a sequel to Spaceballs. But... Actually, I saw an interview with Rick Moranis. Pretty recent interview, and he's aged incredibly well. For when you play Stellar Blade? Yeah, exactly. No, Kenneth, I think it was back in 2006. This guy emailed me, because I already been doing this stuff for a long time, even back then. And this guy emailed me. He got back from the Iraq War, and one of his arms got blown off in an IED explosion. And he got back home and he's like, I can't play video games now. And then he emailed me. He's like, can you build something? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because, it made me think of like Empire Strikes Back and Luke getting his arm chopped off. So I made up a prototype. And then I put it on my website. And then I made more prototypes and more prototypes and more prototypes. And now it's like 19 years later. And I still do them for people. It's on my website. And I couldn't tell you. It's probably at least 500 in the last 19 years. I don't know the exact number, but that would be a safe minimum. Yeah, John Candy's dead. Who's the robot? Wasn't it like Joan Allen or something? And Mel Brooks is somehow still alive. He's very much alive, sort of. You know what they would call it something other than Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money, and that's where it would just be like, no, stop it, you're drunk, go home. Oh, she is dead. Okay. Not in here, mister. This is a Mercedes. Barf! You know, if they like lampooned the Disney Star Wars sequels, that might be kind of funny. But I don't know. I would prefer if they just didn't make it at all. Let it go, Junior. Died from bad plastic surgery. Is that oh, I guess it is possible. What was the last Mel? It's been a while since he's made a movie, wasn't it? Like, God, I can't remember. Was it the Dracula Dead and Loving It? Was that the last one? Or Robin Hood Men in Tights he did. Ben spends 2 hours trying to remember the name of Ernie Hudson. Yeah, Microsoft's done a couple of them. They did like that first like one that kind of looked like DJ Hero. That was, God, that's probably at least 5 years ago. I bought one to look at. PlayStation made one, and then Microsoft has a newer one that's it's like this modular thing you snap together. I guess I should probably buy it too and look at it. They raised the price on it big time, though. I'd like to think I was to blame for that. Because these sell for $350 plus shipping. Basically, you're paying me to do a bunch of intricate soldering. I think the new Microsoft one is like $250, so they definitely bumped it up. So I guess I shouldn't complain too much about this. No, I'm still going to complain about the Switch too. Okay, so that goes that way. Yep. And EGOT, Mel Brooks says EGOT. Oh, like for the producers? Oh yeah, didn't they? Yeah, they redid the producers on Broadway, right? Like with Nathan Lane and what's his face? Oh, I got it backwards. Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick. I thought I said Matthew. Oh, God damn it. I'm old. Yeah, didn't they do... There was a Broadway run of The Producers. Right, The Producers was a Broadway show. Then it was a movie. Then it was a Broadway show. And then it was a movie again, I believe. Guy, I believe that's the older controller, like the white one with like the big black buttons. They have a newer one that kind of looks more like a. It looks like a capsella, or like one of those modular worms they build to dig through rubble. Microsoft's, and then Sony has one as well. Yeah, there was the original 1960s version, and then there was the new one. Well, it happened. Little Shop of Horrors, same thing, right? It was a Roger Corman movie, and then it was a Broadway play, and then it was a movie again. There's just two versions of the Fly, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of the Omega Man, where there's 3 versions. Yeah, because the original... oh, no, I'm thinking of the Thing. Yeah, because there was the Fly and the Fly, and the first version of the Thing was called Who Goes There? And then Omega Man was... let me see if I can get this right. It was The Last Man on Earth, the Omega Man, and... crap, what was the Will Smith one called? I Am Legend. These brain teasers can keep your brain young. What's your brain age? Yeah, the original adaptation of Omega Man was was Vincent Price. Wait, was it Omega Man was the one with Charlton Heston, right? Because it was 3 different names, wasn't it? I Am Legend 2? Why? Oh, God. I'm gonna slap some zombies. Oh, Soylent Green should absolutely be remade, along with Logan's Run. Definitely, because their premises are even more relevant now than they were back then. I mean, we have it where Social Security will start being not insolvent, but it won't be able to pay out 100% starting in 2032. So a movie about killing everyone over the age of 30, although it would be 40 now, would actually be relevant. See also Soylent Green. Oh, you should remake them as the same movie. People go to Carousel at age 40, but then they get turned into Soylent Green. Oh my God, it's Soylent Green meets Logan's Run. It's a surefire winner. Hey, Adam Sandler lives in a future where everyone gets turned into Soylent Green at age 40, and he's a boxer. Oh, great, we'll call it Soylent Run. All right. Now we need the adjustment screwdriver. Oh yeah, Logan Run was attached to Bryan Singer for a very long time, who was also trying to remake Battlestar Galactica. Okay. Rock back and forth on the X and Y axis. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's a perfect example. Like, oh, how much money can I get from Netflix? Oh, let's see. Do any of my grandkids not have mansions yet? I mean, that's got to be it with, like, Patrick Stewart. It's like, Patrick Stewart, how can he... does he have a gambling problem? Like, why does he need the money? Alexa, how many kids does Patrick Stewart have?
Patrick Stewart has multiple children, including Daniel Stewart and Sophie Stewart.
Wow, she just said... oh, yeah. Obviously, actually, I just rewatched Battlestar Galactica last summer. It holds up really well. Some of the effects are bad, but no. Bryan Singer wanted to make a reboot after the series. Then, of course, he got canceled. But yeah, it was apparently he was really trying hard to do it, and it was just going to be a movie. So I don't know how that would have worked. Like, oh yeah, here's a beloved mini-series, and now we're going to try to cram it into 2 hours, or I guess it'd be 3 hours now. Yeah, Caprica was okay, but yeah. You know, one thing that struck me rewatching Battlestar Galactica is, like, arguably, probably, like, what the two main characters, like, Admiral Adama and President Rosalind, they kind of, like, were awful sometimes. They were like trying to cheat an election in one episode, and sometimes they were fascist. And, like, rewatching it, it's like, you're like, oh my god! Like, I mean, they certainly wouldn't have these plots now. I mean, it would be considered way too controversial. But it's like, man, yeah, it's like kind of crazy rewatching it. Yeah, Bryan Singer directed that. What was it? What was the name of the movie about Queen? Like Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, he directed that whole thing, but then he got he didn't get Me Too'd, but he definitely went into hiding. So, and then somebody else finished it, and then it was a huge smash hit. So that probably got a sting. And I think that was it for him. So. Yeah, the V show. Well, they remade that one too. Remember with what's her face? I can't remember her name. The woman who. Yeah, V was like 1988 or something. Looks like this controller's good to go. You can have whatever color you want as long as it's monochromatic. Bryan Singer didn't technically get Me Too'd, but he had paid off people in the past. So I think when everything was started, when Me Too was like coming back or whatever, he definitely was like, oh crap. And I don't think he actually got fired off the movie, but like he basically went into hiding, and I don't think he's come back since. Deadpool's wife. Oh yeah, that's right. She's got like some sort of controversy now too, doesn't she? No, he's talking about Blake Lively, not the chick from Serenity. Oh. Reclaim all screws. Huh? Where's the one that fits this? Well, what the hell? What the hell? Deadpool's wife was... Oh, you mean Deadpool. You mean Deadpool's girlfriend. Well, yeah, people were talking about getting canceled, and then I thought about Blake Lively. Apparently there's some sort of controversy with her. No, you're talking about, yeah, Monica Barracan, or Monica The chick from Serenity, the prostitute character, right? Yeah, and then the blonde chick from Lost, like the bad scientist lady who mud wrestled with the other chick. She was in it too. Like, what was her name? Elizabeth something? Crap, I can't remember her name. It's Elizabeth. Well, I know, like, you know, like Elizabeth Banks. You know the well, most famously known as you know, the secretary from Spider-Man. Like her, God, what was it? Her actual name was the same name as the lady I'm trying to remember. So she actually changed her name to Banks. Crap, what was her name? I was like, it's Elizabeth something. Yeah, the V remake was produced by Jace Hall, the guy who currently owns Twin Galaxies. But nobody talk about Billy Mitchell. That's verboten. So you want to get sued, boy? Well, Commodore fan, you were the smart one because that show was a waste of time. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth Mitchell. Yeah, so Elizabeth Banks' real name is Elizabeth Mitchell. But, yeah, Elizabeth Mitchell was already an actress, so she changed her name to Elizabeth Banks. Yes, fun fact. Parker, you're fired! Wait, you're unfired. It's a big gala event for American hero, my son, the astronaut. Oh, here's somebody that AI came up with. I was like, what is a common, easily obtainable piece of plastic that has a consistent thickness no matter where you buy it? And it suggested gift cards or credit cards. It's 0.72 millimeters. And so, because I'm slowly putting these files on GitHub, if you want to build their own scanner. And so the top and the bottom of the surfaces that touches the edge of the film is gift cards. Because that was the best. Because I wanted a flat surface instead of. Because if you look at this 3D print under a microscope, it looks hairy. But so this gives you a nice clean top and bottom. So that's why that gift card is there. But this is old, so it's going in the trash. Yeah, after Elizabeth Banks was in Spider-Man, she became a movie director. Yeah, she directed, I think she directed Pitch Perfect 2. So she had some hits before she made... before she made a Charlie's Angels movie for women. Oops. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. As if anyone gives a flying F about Charlie's Angels back then anyway. Because at least when they had the one with, like, what's her face? Oh yeah, Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, and Drew Barrymore. Oh, look at this. Look at how much dirt that picked up from the film. This was like the first prototype. Look at that. See? There. That's crazy. Is that the new film? There's no... How would it have gotten that dirty? That had to be the old film. Look at that. Look at this, sir. Yeah. Look at that. Oh yeah, Cocaine Bear is pretty good. Yeah, she directed that too. Big party for an American hero, my son. Parker, it's not the position I hired you for. Let's see. English, 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 English. Metric, metric, metric. Oh yeah. Stop, not holder. That'll be included. Actually, there's a new. Actually, this one worked pretty well. I think a new version of it. Verify. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish my thought. It's like in, what was it, 2000? 2000, so the people who would have been going to Charlie's Angels in 2000 would have been like people my age who maybe we don't remember the show, but like our dads would have been like gooning for Farrah Fawcett, so we at least had some continuity with it. I mean, like, what does Charlie's Angels mean to like a 15-year-old girl in 2019? Absolutely nothing, which is what you're about to become. Oh man, sorting screws? This is really boring content. This is bad comedy, Starscream. Megatron, is that you? Here's a hint. What do you say his name is? Galvatron. Oh, I made these two. Lock nut. What was it? Why did I make these? Oh yeah, because I didn't have any M3 metric wing nuts. I did buy a couple from a hardware store and like, oh my god, I thought we'd have to like sell a kidney. The kitty cat treats? Oh, I think I gave him some treats earlier, and he ate a can of food, so he doesn't eat anymore. He should be docile until about 5 a.m., in which case he'll start mewing, and I'll kick him out of my bedroom. And then he'll resume mewing at 8 o'clock. I don't even set my alarm clock anymore. Oh, these are 632 wing nuts. This spring, I could still use it for something. Oh, I use metric. Well, yeah, because this was from that was from the film scanner. All right, this wheel didn't work. Yeah, so most of the parts in that, my rule is like if most of the parts are metric, then I design the thing in metric. So you've got 8mm film, you've got NEMA 17 stepper motors, which are metric. So metric. Oh, it is kind of confusing because the the film is measured in feet, and then the reels are measured in inches. So it's like a 3-inch reel, 7-inch reel, 50 foot on a 3-inch reel. But then I calculate of course, yeah, so the 3-inch reel, I calculate the diameter of the wind-up film in millimeters. Yeah. Oh, no, 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 no. My uncle's like a hippie scientist, so you got that backwards, Marwill. I might as well just leave these out. Yeah, I gotta clean up that. Oh, it's gross. All right, I'll throw that away. That's much money. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's like 10:30. I can still relax for a little bit since I only had like well, I guess I had like a 2-hour break. Okay, these are for the cat food opener. I have to make more versions of this for the different tabs. This was based off the urine food. But yeah, see the can lid tab goes in here. See, this is a oval, right? So one of the brands I bought, like every different brand of cat food at Menards to do tests on cheap food, unlike the one Bud has to use. So one of the brands is a circle instead of a oval. So I'll have to make different versions of these. But what you do is you lift up the tab just a little bit, and then this slides under it. So this is pretty thin, right? That slides under it. The tab goes around there, so it's captured, and then you got 2 screws on this one. So this goes in here, locks shut, and then through here you have a 75 millimeter, 5 millimeter diameter rod. So this project's also designed in metric. So your rod's like that, and then the trick is the sled comes and it does that, and then when it goes backwards, there's hooks. Well, actually, it goes more like this. Pulls it open, and then the next part. So that part works. So the next part thing I have to do is I have to make an ejector, and then it has to load the other one. So I'm actually thinking of doing it just like a gun. So because it opens this way, so then this one has to be in a different direction for the force. So you'd come back and then you'd eject it, and then there's a little ramp, so it slides down and then goes under the floor. And then when this comes back, the next one comes gun magazine. Hey, but everything SAE is secretly in metric. I think they redefined something in metric to be like based off like quark distance or something. Because everything in metric, it's just fingers and water basically. All right, yeah, I gotta use the restroom, so I'm gonna head out. But yeah, thanks for everyone who stopped by. And then yeah, I guess maybe we'll see if there's anything to build next Monday. But yeah, otherwise maybe. Well, I am slowly working on a actual YouTube video about the scanner, so eventually it will go up. So keep an eye out. All right, yeah, my teeth are floating, so I'll catch y'all later. Bye bye.